thought it would be so hard, and I tried to stop so many times, and it was so difficult, and I couldn't do it, and it'd start up again. I never smoked again. I mean, you couldn't pay me enough to smoke a cigarette, which is, I think, just kind of unusual because it was such a big part of my life for a long time,
Mary Beth Weber is one of Dr. Alemar's patients with smoking-related stage 4 cancer. In her case, the regrets are endless and repercussions have far-reaching effects.
The look on every patient who's been told they have a cancer, it's related to smoking, even though we don't tell them your cancer was related to smoking, but they know about it. The first, as I meet a patient, I start asking them questions about themselves. I don't start off by saying you have cancer. I start off by how do you feel, what symptoms happen, and then through their lifetime it says, do you ever smoke? You did when you quit. And then I said what we have found, and then I move on to, but a lot of them, as you're asking them, and I says, well, we found a spot in your lung, and they did a biopsy, and they says, I know I have cancer. But the look on their faces is all the same. Is that look of regret. They all have the same look. They all regret it.
After getting this news, it was like, how could I have been so stupid to do this? I mean, now to me, it's incredible to me that I was that stupid to do that, but there it is,
It's the mass murder of the 21st century, taking over 400,000 lives every year in the U.S. alone, inflicting its victims with lifelong illnesses. After numerous years of awareness campaigns, smoking continues to consume people of all ages. Cancer is just one of the devastating consequences of this avoidable habit. It's Dr. Jose Alemar's crusade to inform people about the dangers of smoking before they become his patients.
Lung cancer is the most common cause of cancer death in the United States, and that is related to smoking itself. Among all the solid tumors, most of them will be linked to smoking, such as stomach cancer, esophageal cancer, bladder cancer. If you think, for example, of lung cancer, which is the standard or the most common cancer related to smoking, the cure for a patient with stage 1 lung cancer could be as low as 46% with the best therapy, surgery. And then with the addition of chemotherapy, you could increase the cure rate by 4 to 5%, which to some patients may not sound that high or that much of a benefit. However, when your cure rate is so low to begin with, then it might be worth it. A lot of patients go for it. Patient with stage 4 is essentially a spread disease, is incurable, and the life expectancy could be as low as 3 to 6 months. There's more chemotherapy coming down the road, new agents and clinical trials, which could prolong the life expectancy by 1 to 2 years, which most patients probably want more than that.
The rapidly spreading disease has detrimental effects, both physically and emotionally, as cancer impacts both friends and family.
Matter of fact, I went to the doctor because my foot stopped working. My left foot just flopped, and so when I went, he kind of panicked and said, like I said, he said, you better pray you had a stroke, which obviously I didn't, but out of the blue. I mean, that was just, up to then there was nothing. Matter of fact, I was working out like crazy.
Her and I did kickboxing classes over the summer and been very active together, doing really active things like going for walks or bike riding, or we did this ultimate body shaping course together 2 summers ago. So, going from that to not being able to walk, to me was the hardest to see, I guess.
It has to do with where the cancer is. If the cancer is in the lungs, then you could have symptoms from the cancer in the lungs itself, coughing out blood, chest pain, shortness of breath, or you could have symptoms from the cancer being spread, say back pain because the cancer is going to your back, breaking the back, or going to the brain and you have a seizure or a stroke-like picture. You can't move your arms, can't move your legs. We try to talk to family members in front of the patient, but depends. Younger patients come in with parents, older patients come in with their children, and they tend to have questions that may stress the patient even more, so we have to be careful with that. So whenever I get a tough question as how long does he or she have to live, I turn to the patient and says, your son here or your parents here are asking how long you have to live. Do you want to hear it, or you don't. And the truth of the matter is, nobody knows how long anybody has to live, but all we can do is quote them a statistic. You have a cure rate of X percent. The average patient will live this long. We're hoping for more. However, X percent means you could live longer, but you also could live far less than that.
Yeah, I think it's coming pretty quick. And they've been upfront about that. They've said that, all along. They're pretty willing to try, but I think we're kind of at the point, I'm not sure there can be another round of treatment.
That happens. There are patients who will say, I don't want to go through it, and I want to take my chances, or I want to try something holistic, natural medicine, and or they may just say, I want to be treated for the symptoms. It's not worth my time trying to gain one more month of life with this chemo, or if I only got this much time to live, I want to do something different.
I'm willing to go for it, but, if it's going to make me sick and if it's going to do this and do that, but at this point, I think we'll just have to see,
There's a lot to be learned from the story of Mary Beth Weber, a vibrant and loving woman consumed by a habit that gravely affected her health. It's because of patients like Mary that Dr. Alamar is so passionate about his purpose. It's because of patients like her that he's on a movement to save lives. Reporting for Countryside High School, Annetta Kozub, UPC TV.